Mocha.
Voila, we live. Let's get it, Brunson. Let's get it.
Let's get it, Amir. Let's get it. Rolling out AM. Come on, Cass. Rolling out AM. Wake up call. Come on, Cass. Come on, rolling out AM. The wake up call, Romeo. Come on, rolling out. Rolling out. Come on, Ty. Rolling out. AM. Wake up call. Come on. What?
This is where the song drops.
Let's get it. Let's go. Let's get it.
The sun is shining, nice and bright. The birds are chirping,
and I'm ready to fly.
Time to get ready
for another day.
No one can stop us. We gon' learn to play. Every day we learn and play.
We do our best, so we'll be great.
You do your best,
and I do mine.
So let's get ready. Cause it's about that time. Good morning, you. Good morning, how do you do? Good morning, time to be great. Good morning, time to wake. Good morning,
your dance and play.
Good morning,
time to start the day.
Good morning, open your eyes. Good morning,
reach for the sky.
Good morning to you. Good morning, how do you do? Good morning to you. Good morning, how do you do?
Good morning.
You see me on my grind.
Stars got to shine.
I'm a supernova.
Yeah, you see me taking over. Yeah,
I'm on the move. I got a way to shine to. So let me hear you say, every day we gon' learn and play.
Hey, it's rolling out AM, the wake up call. You got it, you asked for it, and we're right here to give it to you right now. This is Ty Cooper and AR Shaw, Romeo International, and the bright light of everybody's life, cascading light, and a watt smile, 1,000 watts cast in the city. What's going on, everybody? How are you? And thanks for tuning in. We're getting ready to come your way. Start your day. Ty Cooper.
Ty.
What up, Ron? E.O.
What's going on, superstar? Good morning to everyone. It's Wednesday. As I lovely like to say, we here. We made it. It's okay. Y'all can breathe. Y'all can relax. Shout out to everybody on Facebook that's checking in quick and early. Like I said, Ty, Cass, this is Steve, AR, my brother from a mother, another somebody like that. So, hey man, it's hump day. Let's get over this hump.
Hump day. I'm used to your mask. What happened to your mask? You said we always got a mask up. I don't know. You start today. I just.
You know what? Thank you for keeping me on point. I have been masked up. Still pushing the narrative. Posting with a purpose. Like I'm still on mask. Can't nobody convince me that it ain't needed, and can't nobody talk to me crazy. So crazy. Ty. I still see videos. I don't know if you see them. I still see social media videos pop up where people still arguing about a damn mask. It is the most hilarious. Cause I be looking at it like AR. I be seriously looking like, why are you talking to this person?
Right, just let it go.
Just walk away. They made their choice. So
well, hopefully people wise up. It's been a crazy situation. I know we're going to be talking about what's happening over in China and how they say they're over this thing. But when it comes to China, it's always propaganda. So we're gonna definitely wait for that report. What happened in Wuhan over the weekend? Crazy story. But the clubs are still packed in the ATL. People are still turning up.
It's crazy. Day parties on fleek. I mean, this is like, really, y'all? Really? This is what we doing? Okay.
It's so many other cities on us, Ty. I be seeing memes like everybody closed, but Atlanta didn't get the message or something.
Yeah,
which has led
Georgia
to
as a whole
the highest infection rate per capita in the nation right now. We lead in the nation in affection per capita. Like our rates are definitely high for the citizens that we have for the state. So, but you know, governor said we don't need any masks and
winning.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I just started a wildfire, I think, with that mask comment with you, Romeo, because I don't know. It's frustrating at the same time. It's like, come on, y'all. Every morning I wake up, I be like, okay, oh, Lord. Don't let it be me, Jesus.
I feel you on that.
Every time you have like a little something, you're like,
Love sniffle.
Right.
Love sniffle.
No.
Hey,
Go get some tea.
the crazy part, you doing the black thing. You running into the bathroom, looking in the mirror like you can actually see COVID. Like,
Ooh, right.
what's that mark right there? What's that on my neck?
Man.
Hey,
Wow.
so good morning,
What's
man.
you got going on, Cass? What's going on with your report?
We're going to get into this report, but for everybody who's tuned in, thank y'all for watching. Please share the show with your friends, your followers, and let them know to tune in to Rolling Out AM. But let's get into this report. First up, Apple Music, Beats One Radio has announced some new shows. So if you're a fan of Snoop Dogg, Young, I don't know if it's M.A. or Ma, I always get it a little mixed up, but whatever. Sierra, they have some new shows on Apple Music, Beats One Radio. So make sure you guys tune in. Level Up Radio, Uncle Snoop's Army Radio, and Me Always Radio. So tune in. I think those air tonight. I know Young M.A. Y'all correct me. Young M.A., Young Ma, which is it? Because I always Young M.A. Okay.
They need to separate the letters.
I'm just like, I get confused. I just don't, no disrespect. I just want to make sure I'm saying it right. But shout out to them. They got some shows. So if you guys are fans, tune in. You know, they're going to be talking about some different things that are important to them on this new platform. That's exciting. We have some crazy news going on continuously in Kentucky. We keep talking about, you know, trying to get justice for Breonna Taylor. And Oprah, you know, she did her thing. She put up these 26 billboards across, you know, across Kentucky, and Louisville specifically, I believe. And this one appeared vandalized with like this red blood looking spot, you know, on the face of Breonna Taylor. And this is just sick. Like, it's absolutely ridiculous that someone would even do this. You know, she lost her life. So it's like, this is so disrespectful. And it's just like, if you're not, you know, with the movement, you don't have to do anything like this. Like, this is just crazy to me. It's disrespectful to her life, to her family, and everyone who's been fighting for justice for her. It's just crazy to me that someone would do this. What are y'all's thoughts? Like, I just couldn't even believe this when I saw it.
When do we get to fight?
I'm just like what is going to be, you know, what is the consequences for whoever did this, you know? Because this is sickening.
We ain't got
who
that.
didn't see it happen? Like, who didn't? Somebody had to go up high.
Hey, bro.
That was
It was
like
probably in the middle of the night.
Right.
Well,
yeah, that's crazy.
Like I say, man, I think it started. This is a long standing thing, man. It's like you just got a lot of people who just they're like they have a hate for Black people, you know, and I think a lot of it is envy. You know what I'm saying? They that we're gonna majority in America in a few years. Well, minorities are gonna be majority in a few years. And you just have a lot of hate. You just have a lot of people that are spewing hate for no reason. I think you're always going to have those people who think this is what this country's been built off of. And I just hope, we just got to hope that they're dealt with accordingly. Of course, you know, we saw that this racist guy, I'm not sure if you guys saw the video, but it was a racist guy in the UK. He was on the train, you know, talking craziness about these talking craziness, you know, for real, like talking craziness to these Black dudes. And then all of a sudden the Black dudes knocked him out. And it's like, okay, if you're gonna react like this, understand that there are consequences to the way you put the energy that you put out. So hopefully this person is caught. Hopefully this person is dealt with. And you know, I guarantee you it was a punk that doesn't want to, you know, that wouldn't. Sure. So
yeah,
but it's just like, you know, I don't know. It's crazy to me. I just hope Daniel Cameron, I believe that's his name, you know, arrest the cops who killed Breonna Taylor. We can just move on because it's ridiculous. But like we said, we were just talking about China, and obviously the coronavirus, they say it came from Wuhan, China. And over the weekend, there was a massive pool party at like one of their, water parks. And this was crazy. This is all the people. It was, no mask, no social distancing going on. And this is unbelievable to us because this is like not life as I don't know. I mean, like we said, people are in the clubs, but this is crazy.
Worse than
What's going on. And this city, is like a metropolis of like 11 million people. So we know like during the coronavirus outbreak, they did a 76-day shutdown. And it ended in April, but now they're saying the city hasn't had any new cases since mid-May. And, they're slowly reopening and, they've been going on about life as they know it. And then this happened. So I'm just like, is this the truth? What's going on? Like, are they
I don't know. I think it was
76-day shutdown in the, like, what is the deal?
y'all. I think it's a lie. I think it's a lie. I think that picture was from maybe 2017, and they
was
took a
video and
picture
everything. No.
and they posted it. They did the video, like, and now they saying like, "Come on now, China, come on."
Hey man, that's
I
mad.
don't know.
I don't
But
think
you
they
gotta
crazy.
understand
I don't think they
Well,
crazy.
no, China is crazy. Now you got to understand what happens with China. China is a country. No, for real, it's so China, everything. So the media is ruled by the government. So anything that comes out, the government has to get approval before it comes out. So no, it's not allegedly. I see the producer say, no, this is not allegedly.
No, this
China
is,
rules the media. China controls this. Chinese government controls this media. So so what happens is they put out a lot of propaganda. I don't know if this is propaganda, but they have a history of putting out propaganda. China is crazy.
I don't know, but
Right. Allegedly, China is crazy.
If
But
it
they've
is,
been lying.
it
A lot of people
isn't.
saying
like,
they've been lying about.
they are.
A lot of people saying they've been lying about their numbers because they're saying that a lot of people have died they've died over the past few months, but they haven't reported them, and they've cremated a lot of people as well. So they think the number I think they've reported around like 8,000 to 10,000 deaths, but the citizens have said that they think it's around 42,000. So y'all, when it comes to China, you always gotta kind of
I don't know. I was just like, this is crazy. Can y'all imagine right now? Like, I know we showed that indoor pool party at the club, but this was
that's Atlanta on a Saturday.
No, but this was like a mall size water park. Like it crazy, like amounts of people. I think like thousands of people can go in this water park a day, like 12,000, 15,000 people a day. So this is wild. But anyway, I don't know if they crazy or what, but this scene looked crazy to me because we in quarantine. Next, we have some birthdays. It is Fat Joe's birthday, Romeo Miller. Shout out to them. Shout out to everybody else celebrating. It is Leo season. Yeah, it's still
Leo season. Yeah.
But the best season is next, so we'll get into that.
We got balloons, yeah. The cake is on the way. We got the music playing, cause it's your holiday. We invited family, and everybody came. I strike a pose for me like you in a picture frame. You got your finest clothes on, and $1 million smile. So we gon' celebrate you for a while. And don't forget we got the candles when you away. Don't forget we got the candles. Happy birthday, gonna celebrate you for a while. Candles, blowing you away. Wait. Candles. Happy birthday, happy girl.
So yeah, definitely want to wish everybody happy birthday. Thank you guys for tuning in, Scrolling Out AM. Make sure you guys share the show. And who's up next?
I am
Romeo?
in the city. I want to say it so bad, but Ty gonna punch me in the eye, so I'm gonna shut up because I don't want.
Punch, go ahead. Let's
Okay.
reach through the glass. Get him, Ty.
All right, where we start, I'm gonna go. Okay, look, check this out. This disturbed me. This is why it's important to vote, people. Derek Harris, a Louisiana man who was sentenced to life in prison for selling less than $30 worth of marijuana, has been freed after nearly a decade behind bars, and people are celebrating as if this makes sense. This man, hold up. This man has been in jail for a decade.
Prison
For $30 a week, which meant that he was in jail before weed became illegal. So now that it's illegal, you can buy weed for $30. Do y'all see this conundrum, people? This is why I need y'all to vote. Yeah, I use the big word, Cass. I need y'all to vote because this makes no sense in life, and I'm very happy that this black man is free. But this should not be celebrated. There are brothers in prison right now who are serving time for things that are illegal today. Come on, man.
Right.
Learn how to do the math. 1 + 1 does equal 2. Next up on the docket, I'm ready to rock it. All right, so this intrigued me. Stacey Dash on the Social Report, husband said he claims he was hypnotized into marrying her. Now, this is what the man said. Jeff claims he only took his vows after Stacey's pastor put religious pressure on him and got hitched on April the 6th in 2018. He says he was proclaimed that it was God's will that they get married. Sir, you were not hypnotized. That's a Baptist preacher. That's what they say at all the weddings, man. It's God's will to get, like that's what they say.
Hypnotized. He acted like a witch came in and put a spell on him.
He being real petty. They must
What?
have had an argument. He being real petty about things, and yeah, that's a reach.
You definitely ain't never been to a black church because the preacher will, hey brother, you know when you marry this woman, it's for life, liberty, justice for all, like that. Whatever the line is, Cassidy.
Right.
You know. So
I hear you.
get your life together. Last but not least, now I got a big question for y'all. I don't know how I feel about this. So and I'm a fan of this show. So Our House is making history with Disney's first bisexual lead character. That's the character. Now, Our House, if you know, I'm not sure if you know, it is geared for, I want to say 1 to 5. 1-year-old, 1 to 5-year-olds. You know, my little cousin, she watches it, and then she's 4. So, what are y'all thoughts? I'm about to cause some trouble. What are y'all thoughts about that being implemented into not only cartoon characters, but in the youth as they're watching, because they don't really know. No, I don't know.
I want to ask Munson. No.
You want to ask?
I want to ask Munson because he got these kids' books out, and you know he's in that arena. So Munson, what do you think about this?
Everybody has their constitution. I mean, Disney clearly wants to be in the forefront of moving that. That's not where I'm driving our characters at Playful Genius, but you know, people see it as major. You know, I've been out selling books, and people want gender neutral books. They don't want to establish. I think the sexual fluidity is an issue that people are really grappling with, which is probably the future. But nobody really wants to acknowledge that it is a impending truth. So
I got a question for you before everybody chime in. You said gender neutral. Are you talking about they're looking for more gender neutral characters or storylines? Like, or is it both?
Pretty much both. So when you get ready to sign the book, the people say, you say to my little girl, and
Okay.
they say, just say to the child's name. Typically in bigger cities, with parents that are, not pushing how they want children to acknowledge their gender.
Okay.
So, and I think that for many people, even Amir, they are, people are pushing the envelope on how things look. So we all don't acknowledge it, but it all, we're grappling and moving quickly to that place. So it's not a surprise.
Okay.
The loss or the win, nobody's to judge, but you're in a society that literally I project, probably, forecast 20 years from now, fluidity will be a reality, but you'll probably also have term marriage in another 20 years. People will make terms. And I would imagine term birth would be the next thing that would happen. But I think it's a question of the day. Do you want your children to have bisexual characters in your house, targeting age 3 to 8?
Right.
It's a good question, Cass. What would you do, Cass? Your mom's a teacher. What do you think? Do you want bisexual characters in your books, Cassie?
In books, I don't know about that, but I feel like on TV, books, whatever, you don't have to show your children. 1 to 5 years old, you're in control of the television. So if this isn't something you agree with, you can change the channel.
Got you. AR?
No, I think I think that it's a little much. I think at that age, I don't even think you're thinking about like sex. I don't think you're conscious of what sex is and what it means. So I don't understand why a character needs to have any type of preference when it comes to sex. Because around that age, you can't even really conceptualize what sex means. But you hope that a child can't really conceptualize the meaning of sex yet.
Right.
So I think it's just a little much. And if they have a lot of sexual references and different cartoons that you don't really get until you older, and it's just like, wow, this is really, really disturbing. So yeah, I mean, it's you have to monitor what your kid's watching, and I think them giving a heads up. If I had a kid, I definitely wouldn't let them watch it.
You know what's crazy now? I'll say this to the whole panel. What's crazy now is the way that Sesame Street is now. Because when I remember watching Sesame Street, and to me, Big Bird was a bird, Grouch was a grouse. You know what I'm saying? Like they were just whatever they were. That's what they were. Now they've added like distinctions to them. Like it's Mr. Big Bird. Well, I didn't know that Big Bird was a dude. I just thought he was a bird. You know what I'm saying? Like,
but it's all in the emails. Like when certain corporations, they already got pronouns. This is what you're supposed to say and identify this individual. Culturally, it's a issue. We are often on the wrong side of truth. So it's getting ready to happen. I think everybody's in denial. Clearly, but it's the same conversation. I don't agree that, when you think about the distribution of information being controlled by about 5 to 6 big brands, I'm not certain that parents can control as much as they would like to think that they can. I mean, literally, your music is streamed through probably 3 to 5 sources. That's a lot of control. I mean, it's truly having an effect on terrestrial radio. So, and then many parents don't have the luxury of monitoring their children. So it's not one of those things. And if we don't believe that, Cass, we can think about education. Many parents don't have the capacity or the time. And we're getting ready to see it. I mean, these children right now are going to be totally impacted. So
yeah, so it's like the sex talk. Like, usually the sex talk happens, around 11 or 12, maybe 13. But now the sex talk has to happen at 5. It's just like, you know, you got to explain to your kid what this means. And it's like,
Yeah.
I know. It's,
Wow.
But so I'm just curious, because what happens if you see this out in public, or if you see a couple and it's a same-sex couple in public, you know, then what? What are you going to do? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's something you can't control if you see someone in public versus on the TV screen.
Well, Kaz, it's even closer. It's like people have two mommies. They're walking their
That's
kids
what I'm
into
saying.
the school.
You can't control that.
But that's why it's being written into the narrative. As I said, my point is it's inevitable that this happens. Everybody has discriminated against people who are trans. People have discriminated against people who are lesbian. So it's a preference that everybody's in denial of culturally. And many of these kids have known since they were 2. I just don't like girls like that. I just never did like girls. My best friend's a girl, and we have more fun because we have more things in common. But everybody has been in denial of that. Doesn't mean that we're going to like it. I think the socialization is, you know, ultimately it'll be people to be asexual. And that's probably about 30 years away. And that's when truth will reign.
You know what's crazy before we move on? Earlier, I think it was either earlier this year or late last year, me and Munson met a young lady at the office whose son was very talented. I don't know if you remember the young guy. He was French or something. But she literally, I remember her telling me, don't identify her. Don't identify him. Like she is actually one of those parents who, I think he was, what, Munson, 10, 11, something like that. She didn't want him identified, you know, by a pronoun, just say his name. Cause I was like, hey, little man, I remember saying this. I was like, hey, little man, how you doing? She's like, no, don't identify him as not, just say his name. And I was lost.
Well, she said his.
Well, I mean,
hold on, Miss Florida. Hold on.
You're right.
Oh my God, Lord have
Yeah,
mercy.
but I think Cass's point is the reality. Reality is finally meeting. I think it's not what you like, it's what's the truth. I mean, parents are walking in, what are you going to do? Say that, you know, you got couples that are adopting children that 2 heterosexuals didn't want. And they're leaving children and they're being adopted by people who are loving them. If they got 2 mommies or 2 daddies, we're going to judge that. We're going to say, okay, well, that baby shouldn't have had a parent. Are they less parents? I mean, I think the conversation is, you know, we're going to have deeper conversations. So, you know.
Apparently. Because this is going deep. Good dialogue.
I don't know. What does Facebook think? I mean, what does our audience think? What does Rolling Out AM people think? Please share your comments. And you got to guess. I'm sure she knows too. Georgia looks like she knows.
Yeah, definitely drop your comments on Facebook. Shout out Rick Mitchell. Ehab, Lahana Campbell says good morning. Kaz, who's this? Shirley Carter in the building. Danielle Alina says, oh, my AR is back. Yeah, he back. He brought the hair back. And Barbara
she said my AR. Okay.
She said my. Hey, I know those ladies. Those are my 2 friends right there. I don't know who George is.
Hey, y'all.
Hi, happy Wednesday.
Happy Wednesday.
Yes, happy hump day.
You know what?
What?
Should we do it, Ty? Should we ask them the question?
Oh, that'll be good. Go ahead, throw that.
So I don't know if y'all heard. So Disney is implementing a new character into a new bisexual lead character into their kids' cartoons, Owl House. And Owl House is geared for 1 to 5-year-olds. What are your thoughts on that?
Wait, hold on. Just pause 1 second. Did y'all see Dawn's response and her deep breath? She was like,
I know, it's heavy. It's 8:30.
Right.
It's just, first of all, it's too early for that.
Right.
I feel that.
Oh, I was thinking this is really early to be talking about that.
And it's too early for our children.
Right.
Me and
Bingo.
Don-
Everything.
Period with a T.
me and Don.
Period.
Chaz.
Shay.
Shay.
Yes. What are my thoughts?
Yeah.
I agree with Don. It's too early for this. That's a lot for a 1 to 5 year old to process. I don't know if that's needed in our Disney cartoon. Not that children should be taught that, but I'm gonna say I'm not ready for it. And I'm glad my kids are 14 and 15. That wasn't in their cartoons. There's enough I got to explain right now.
Okay, we got 2 on one side. So y'all over here. Let's see what George has to say.
Oh, I'm on the same side. Listen, I have an 18-month-old and a 2-year-old, and it's already enough just trying to deal with 2 under 2 and adding that to the mix. You know, there's nothing wrong with it, but I just think that it's not Disney's place to educate children on sexuality. I think that's something that should be reserved for parents. Parents should be the ones to, you know, have those conversations with their children when they're ready to have those conversations with their children.
Right. Okay. Well, good morning, ladies. We sorry we had to start you off like this, Don.
Romeo's fault. It's all Romeo's fault.
Yeah, his question.
You stopped Don in her tracks. Don was like,
I know.
Right.
Yeah. But hey, I am well meditated this morning.
right.
So it's all good. I can
Right.
handle,
Oh.
I can handle whatever comes my way. All right.
Right.
I have a strong
Yes.
foundation. I'm ready to go.
Mhm.
I don't even want to ask what meditations did you used, but
I didn't say medication.
oh.
Take.
Like, hold on now. Wait
Oh
a
my
minute.
goodness.
What medication did she take?
Oh, I'm high off life, baby.
Romeo.
I'm high just
You
being
know
me.
where your head is.
What's in your
You know where
cup,
your
Don?
head
What'd
is.
you put in there this morning?
No, this is
Y'all don't go there with Don this morning. It's just
Yeah.
straight tea.
Just-
Come on,
just
Don.
go with
Tell
the
them.
flow.
Just tea.
Come
Go
on
with the
back
flow.
in, please.
Go with the flow. Yes.
So introduce yourselves once again. I mean, we know y'all. We want everybody.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you. I'm Shay of Let Go, Let Flow. This is our first segment with you guys. Woo, woo, woo. We're super
Yay.
excited to be on here on this weekly segment. So thank you for having us.
And I am Dawn Johnson, the other half of Let Go, Let Flow, and we are excited to get this rolling out AM and just talk about topics that are relevant to our community. And today's topic for us is the one drop rule. And maybe many don't know the terminology, you know, but it's deeply embedded in that another ugly word, colorism.
Right.
So,
So,
they would like to introduce our
Yes.
dope guest today.
yes. So this is our local celebrity here in Minneapolis,
Yes,
Miss
thank
Georgia Ford. She's a local journalist, 2-time Emmy nominated for media, producer, and television. So we are so excited to have her on. I couldn't think of a better person to ask to be our first guest on this topic. I know she's dealt with a lot of this with the one drop rule at work. Her and I have talked about this over dinner before. So I thought it'd be perfect to have her knowledge and her expertise on what is happening in the professional world with this topic.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes.
And so the biggest thing that is on the global and national platform is our new VP nominee on the Democratic side. The dear Kamala Harris is in the fight of her life right now to her ethnicity is being questioned on a regular. So as a Black woman who not only do we have to, you know, fight in our homes, fight in the world, fight in the corporate world, fight for our children, fight with for our credentials to always show up and be qualified, over qualified for every damn thing. You know, now we have to explain the percentage of our melanin. And so where does
Right.
this stop?
What is that, right?
What is
So,
that?
so our first question is, you know, George, I'm going to direct this towards you. Why do you feel there's backlash towards Kamala and her not being Black enough for the job? What is that in our society that we're automatically judged on our Blackness? And that's showing up in the workplace.
Yeah, no, I mean, obviously being biracial, like clearly, you know, I've dealt with that. There was a saying growing up, you're not Black enough to be Black, you're not white enough to be white. And so I think until I was confident in my own identity, I struggled with that personally. And so looking at her, however, I don't know if that's the same struggle she's facing. I think that her background, her career choices of being a prosecutor is really what people kind of rub people the wrong way to begin with. And so I think at some point individually, we have to lean into who we are and be confident in who we are. Like Martin Luther King said, you know, don't judge a person by the color of their skin, but the content of their character. And so is she a good person, you know, really at the core? And so what I will say about the Black community, however, being biracial, but then again, strongly identifying with my Black heritage, I mean, I've had moments where people are like, yeah, you're white passing. Like, okay, until I open up my mouth, you know, and people see what I'm made of. And I really don't play, you know? And so I think for our community, we also have to get to a place where we're okay with disagreeing with people's choices. And maybe we don't agree with everything that a person represents or stands for. And maybe we even challenge them critically, you know, to do better and hold them accountable. But you know, some of the backlash and some of like the online comments of bashing her, I don't agree with. I think they're toxic and harmful. And overall, we have to be objective as a community as well and say, well, what are our alternatives at this point? Because we sure don't want Trump back in office.
No, we don't. And I just want to clarify for the audience what the one drop rule is, just in case people are not aware of it. The one drop rule is a social and legal principle of the racial classification that was historically prominent in the United States in the 20th century. It asserted that any person with even one ancestor of Black ancestry is considered Black. So, and obviously this same topic and subject came about when President Obama was in office. Was he Black? Was he from the United States? The same thing. And I love what Kamala said. She said, I'm from Oakland. So me questioning my Blackness or where I'm from, you don't need to do that. As George is saying, you know, when you hear me talk or who I am, you know, and that goes into the next question. Why do we have to prove our Blackness? Why is that the question always? Why do we have to prove our Blackness?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's just society pressure. You know, I think that's something that as a community that we're putting pressure on people. I think the media, being a person from media and really, you know, more recently taking a stand against mainstream media and calling for media reform and narrative justice. I think media plays a role in challenging our Blackness and asking us to define that. When I don't necessarily think that we have to buy into that, I think that we just need to be good people and have good ethics. But you know, with her specifically, I just think for our community, we've been really systematically dispositioned because of mass incarceration. And so for her to be a prosecutor, I just don't think that that is a good look when collectively as a community, we have been taking a stand against mass incarceration. And we've talked about, you know, the challenges that that's posed for multiple generations, and even having a brother myself who's incarcerated and serving a life sentence. You know, so when you start talking about someone who's a prosecutor and you want them to lead our nation, you know, I think for me, that's where a lot of the problems come. It has nothing to do with, is she Black enough? It has nothing to do with, you know, her race at all or her ethnicity. If her parents are from this country, it's about her character. That's like me personally. And I do think that Shay, to your question about why do we have to prove our Blackness, like our community needs to seriously ask ourselves that. Is it so much about having someone who is, 100% Black, or is it about someone who has compassion and empathy, which I think that we saw that with Obama. Obama was very compassionate. He led with hope and not fear. And I think that, for his 2 terms in office, that really shifted the culture within our nation.
Great. Don, do you have anything to say? We're almost out of time here. So,
well, I love the fact that Georgia truly is pointing out, Black people, we are not a monolith. We definitely have a variety of opinions, and one Black opinion is not the collective like they'd like to think at times. So I truly agree with Georgia that it is deeper than just Kamala's skin tone. And she is absolutely right. I believe Black people as a collective, we have been harmed by the justice system. And we need to make shifts out of that. So Kamala's got, a big road to toe to come up and show up with compassion for the Black community. And that is how she will be successful. So you are Black, Kamala, 1 drop rule, you are Black. And so we need to have you show up in your Blackness for our people. Let's hear it. And I think that at the end of the day, that is what Black people want to know. Do you have us?
Right. Well, thank you so much.
That's awesome. This was a great conversation. And we appreciate you all for coming on. Georgia, Shay, Don, definitely a conversation we're going to continue to have in this moment. We definitely are thankful.
You're right, Cass, but I got something for Georgia. Because, okay, well, I'm going to go to Facebook first. Facebook just
brace yourself, Georgia. Brace yourself.
Keith
Preston just said, I like her. If you break the law, of change, everybody's not perfect. They make their mistakes. But if you look at the individual, they can do better. Here's my, first of all, I love Don. I love Shay. Georgia, here's the flip. You're talking about something, I'm going to produce it quick. Okay, you're talking about something that's been irrelevant and around for forever. So it's not going to change, in my opinion. We just got to take that L, eat it, and somehow be able to move around it. Because when you brought up Obama, the flip part about Obama was he was the only person being questioned about his nationality. Michelle went. They was like, oh, Michelle Black, Obama's something else. Like if you notice throughout the whole thing, that's what it was. So there are, and I don't want us to pretend like there are. I hate colorism too, but there are benefits of it that each one of us have benefited from. Like this is gonna sound crazy. Like light-skinned women love dark-skinned men. It's a thing.
Come on.
Well, no, we're talking about in general. We're talking about society. So our own society, like Georgia said, our own society separates us off top. Are you Black enough? We separate each other off top. Are you Black? Is Romeo Black enough to go into this part of the neighborhood? No. Why? Because he lives in this part. You know what I'm saying? So we do it to ourselves. But I'm Team Georgia. I'm just saying, y'all.
She's not playing with you today.
Right.
Into that conversation.
I think in order for us to get to understanding, like we have to have these conversations,
right?
And I think that we assume that individuals have different experiences based on their skin tone. But until you really walk a mile in that person's shoes, you don't really know what that person's experience is. I don't know what it's like to be darker skinned, and then people who are dark skinned don't know what it's like to be light skinned and be siloed and not fit in. That when you're struggling to fit in anywhere and you're siloed, not because you chose to be this way, that I'm not saying that it's a better or a worse experience than being dark skinned, but it's an experience and it's a challenging experience. And so I think in terms of, our vice president, I think that she has a unique opportunity where she could reconcile with our community by being on the right side of history and presenting some alternatives to mass incarceration. As we know, folks who are incarcerated, you're not rehabilitated, right? And then oftentimes when you re-enter society, you're even further dispositioned because you lose all your rights. And so I think by her having the experience of being a prosecutor and probably, convicting a lot of individuals in our community, I think that, she could rectify that by coming up with some alternatives. To me, more so it's about that than it is the color of her skin. Okay. And so I think as a community, though, Romeo, I would disagree with you. I think there is something that we can do about it. We all play a role. And those of us who are parents, we're raising the next generation. And so it's just about challenging ourselves and challenging the status quo. Things don't have to continue to be the way that they've always been.
Amen.
Well, thank you so much, Georgia, for joining us for our first segment. We're so excited for the upcoming weeks. And Don, you have anything while we wrap it up? We got to go.
This was dope. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
AM. We appreciate you guys. Thank you, Georgia.
Let go, let flow today. Have a beautiful Wellness Wednesday, everyone.
Love you guys.
Thank you all.
Love
have
you
a
back.
good day, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great.
Y'all was supposed to protect me, Ty. Where was y'all at?
You were about to get canceled, Romeo.
Yeah, you stepped in, bro.
Especially when he said, light skin like dark skin like light skin. I was
like, where are we headed? But anyway, we have another guest on. Hello,
Chris. Good morning.
Welcome.
Good morning. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you.
Good. Well, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Please introduce yourself to the Rolling Out AM Wake Up Show.
Good morning, Rolling Out AM Wake Up Show. I am Crystal Khalil from Sister Diamonds LLC. I'm an executive coach and the co-founder of the International Slumber Party in She Brilliance.
Awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about some of the work that you're doing. Sister Diamonds LLC. You have a lot going on. You're a very busy woman, but we definitely want to get into some of the things that you're doing.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. We are doing a lot. We just completed the world's largest slumber party.
Wow.
Super excited. We had representatives from over 40 countries attend. The International Slumber Party is for young women of color all over the world, where we celebrate their uniqueness and their brilliance, and we provide them with resources to increase their leadership and their personal and professional development. So that completed on August 1st. And we are just super excited. Like I said, we had over 10,000 young women of color.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is amazing. That is such a great concept to have.
Thank
so this
you.
is a virtual experience.
Absolutely.
Not collective, but that is amazing.
Yes.
We missed the memo. We should have had our little jammies on and tuned in, man.
Yes. Well, this is the inaugural, the first one. So next year, I hope to see you there, Ty, with your pajamas on.
Yes. I have the silk pink ones on. Like, let's go.
Yes.
It grew so fast too. There was a lot of press surrounding it because the last video I know that I had tuned in, you all were announcing that it was 20 countries represented. So now afterwards you're announcing that it's 40 countries.
Yeah.
So I mean that it like skyrocketed. It took it to like a whole new level, right?
It did.
So Crystal, tell us more about what was the mission and how did it organically grow so fast?
It's a miracle story, to be honest with you. My partner and I, Dr. Nicola Beach, we started out, we wanted to plan a party for women our age. We wanted to bring together women and have some fun and celebrate each other. But then COVID happened. And she's a professor. And so we started to notice the experience for the students as Spelman, they had to go home, and it really changed changed their life, had a lot of disruption. So we invited them in as a focus group and said, hey, what if we planned a party like this for you? What would you like to experience and what would make it special for you? What would you like to learn? Who would you like to hear from? And they helped us plan this party. And long story short, in less than 90 days, we had over 100 mentor-mentee pairs of volunteers. So we brought in our friends from industry that were working at companies like Porsche, Mercedes, Disney, all over the world to mentor these young students and help put this party together. We grew our website from 0 to over 22,000 hits in 30 days. We touched over 2 million people worldwide on social media. We had 100 million impressions. We were on Good Morning America. We were on Good Day Atlanta. We were all over. We got picked up in about 260 different media outlets in less than 90 days. It was just a miracle. And it was all done by people who just believed in the mission to serve young women of color all over the world, celebrate their uniqueness, their beauty, the power that we have when we come together and shine and collectively elevate our voices.
Oh my gosh, that is so amazing. What I really liked about it too is that those young girls didn't have to pay anything, or no one had to pay anything.
Exactly.
Yeah, it was free.
Yeah, it was free because we had the volunteers that came in and helped us put it together. We had amazing sponsors that helped us. And then we were able, it was a grassroots movement. It turned from a party to a movement.
Yes, it did. Awesome. I love it.
Thank
Amir, you have anything?
Yeah, definitely. So, what do you want the impact of this to be? You know, you see, you touch so many people. Like, how do you want this to impact lives moving forward?
So our mission is illumination and collectivism. We want to shine a light on the issues that affect women of color all over the world. And through collectivism, we know we are stronger together when we choose one another, right? We're not waiting for anybody else to solve the issues of Black women for us. We can solve them together. So we want to continue illuminating them and bringing them together. But the party, this International Slumber Party, was the event. Right? That was phase one. Phase two is putting together sustainable programs to continue uplifting them and building them by providing mentorship, sponsorship, by allyship. We have another conference coming up in October 24th, called She Brilliance. And that is for all women to come together and say, how can we support one another and lift one another? And so these women will become the mentors for the young women of color in the International Slumber Party. So this is an ongoing, sustainable solution.
Sign me up, Crystal.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm serious. I'm going to talk.
Absolutely, Ty. We would love to have you.
Incredible. Well, we're so happy you were able to join us today. Thank you so much for sharing this information with us. You're doing some awesome things. So we wish you continued success, and we're thankful for you coming on.
Thank you, Cass. Thank you all for having me.
Take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
See you soon.
See you soon. Absolutely. I look forward to it.
All right. That was an incredible mission. Like, we need more things like that out there in our community, because we're talking about one drop. We're talking about colorism and everything that's going on. What really has to happen is self-love too. And we can't be judging and saying, oh, you 1% Black, or you 2%. I mean, let's get beyond that, because to Romeo's point, in our community, there's already a separation with the color of our skin, or the acceptance, even within ourselves, with the color of our skin. So definitely we need more movements like that to support each other and help increase the self-love.
This is why I love Ty. So this is why I love Ty sometimes, because she understands me.
Sometimes, wait a minute.
Get him, Ty.
That was the point I was making. We're talking about fighting something outside the box, where inside the box, it's still, we fighting the same thing ourselves, and we can't flex like we don't see it every day. Cass made see, I'm about to give Cass some credit. AR, she can catch this clip. Cass made a brilliant assertion. Yeah, I didn't know that because King James. Brilliant assertion. 3 weeks ago, when she said that how beauty, when she was talking about beauty and how it's presented to the world, like this is what beautiful is. Like this, you have to have
like beauty standards.
Beauty standards.
Okay.
There you go. And you have to look like this, and you have to wear this brand. And people actually, it's funny part, people actually latch on to that.
Yep.
So that's what I'm talking about. Assertion. Thank you, Cass. Thank you, Keith.
It's not assertion, bro.
Well, it's somewhere in that range of.
Oh my
God. We got it. Where's our next guest?
We got a next guest.
We need Terry.
We got you though.
Fact check.
We got it.
See what happened? You see what happened with King James ain't here, producers?
Dictionary.com.
Right. Get that phone and be like, oh, wait. Okay, I got it.
Well, we have another guest coming up. Miss Mary Chapman.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning. If you could just turn on your camera. We hear you loud and clear.
We can hear you, but we have to see that lovely face.
I'm here. I clicked on start my video. I don't know what's happening.
We know. This on the bottom left.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Wait.
One time.
Happening.
Hit it one time. Hey. Hit it one time. Hey.
Love timing.
I hit it.
You hit it, Miss Chapman.
You
like, I hit it. I did.
I don't know what's happening.
Maybe it's
you might have to click like that arrow next to the camera.
Yes, I clicked that, and I click that, and it says HB webcam.
Okay.
I have that checked, and then start my video.
Well, we might have to get you to
this is the first.
Come back in.
Yeah, log off and come back. Just log off for a second and come and log right back on, and then maybe them go in.
Oh, we're gonna get it together.
You'll get it together.
Okay.
No worries.
So that was I guess we'll be right back on the morning show to wake up. Shout out to everybody on Facebook, rolling out Instagram and Twitter. Andre Jackson, April Lips Cup, Janice Simmons. Hey Janice, La Holia Campbell. I really just messed that all the way up, but I still love you. International Slumber Party is checking in. They can't wait for Ty and Cassie to come. Such an exciting time for young color. I'm trying to DJ that joint. And Charmaine Brutilage. You know what? I'm gonna shut up.
Let's go.
I got 2 points for you. Chris Fernandez said, "Go chocolate or go home. I love them all." And Keith Preston said, "Romeo's not lying. He loves lighter women." I don't know where that came from. That was Chris said. I ain't said.
Well, we got a question of the day. We got to move
on. Go ahead, Cassie. This question, Jesus, please.
We got to get into this question of the day. So our producers are pulling it up right now. It is about, I don't know if you guys know what this is, but it's about doppelgangers. So, who do people say is your celebrity like look-alike? And basically, like a doppelganger is basically like your twin somewhere else in the world. And do you believe this is a real thing? So, what do you guys think? Do you have a celebrity look-alike? If so, who is it?
Before we go on, well, I don't think I have one. I think my parents made a one-of-one. I don't think I look like anybody that's famous. I just think I'm just gonna be the guy. Yeah, I don't think I have a celebrity looking like, but I did see the girl Priscilla she does look like Rihanna. But I looked at her page, man. She's like a Rihanna impersonator. Like her whole life is like dedicated to like looking like Rihanna. It's just that's it's weird to me.
Thing about celebrities, like, because if you're like a mega fan, sometimes you go that route. But there are just people who naturally look alike.
Yeah,
and it's not like their whole thing. Because I've seen, these comparisons a lot. But if that's on your page, that's a little weird as opposed to someone saying, "Oh, you kind of look like so and so." I do believe it's a thing for some people. I don't know if it's for everyone.
I've heard that Romeo looks like, and you know, it's a blessing to them. I've heard Nick Cannon, Will Smith, Shamar Moore, and you know, I feel privileged that they have. First of all, y'all ain't got to laugh. First of all, y'all ain't got to laugh that hard. First of all, that's what I heard. But I feel privileged that they have the ability to have this beautiful face, man. I mean, hey.
You know who you look like? I think you look like that guy, Faison. No, not Faison. The guy from Clueless. He played on Scrubs.
I heard that.
You look like that dude.
That was Stacey Dash's boyfriend in the movie.
Yeah.
Okay. We're gonna get back into this
conversation.
Good morning.
Look who popped up.
Right.
Now we're gonna have to get you off mute.
I'm off mute.
Okay,
I was just I was asphyxiated on Ty's face when she saw me. I was like, yay! She's happy to see me.
Yes. We are glad. We're glad we could get your video working and everything. Welcome to the Rolling Out AM show. Please introduce yourself.
I am Mary Chapman, editor-in-chief of Black Bride magazine. And I am a wife, a mom, a sister, a friend, you know, all of that. And I am really happy to be here with you guys. Rolling Out was one of our first media sponsors when we sponsored our first Black Bride bridal show here in Atlanta. And so it's really like good to be home, if you will. So I'm very excited about today and talking with all of you all.
Well, we're happy to have
you.
you.
We can tell you're certainly grounded because when you said your introduction, you were like a wife, mom, friend. Like we don't typically hear that. They usually go on CEO and da-da-da-da-da, but you're like, no, here are my titles, my real titles.
Yes. My everyday, all day titles.
Everyday, all day titles for years titles. Yes, absolutely.
That's awesome. Well, tell us a little bit more about Black Bride magazine, kind of a little bit about your history and everything you guys have going on.
Well, first of all, I want to say that I want to be a part of the International Slumber Party. I think that is the bomb, you know. And I really just kind of caught the tail end of what you guys were talking about the 1% Black and 2% Black. And, you know, we get so much of that on our platform that is something else that we're working on to address on a larger platform, because if we don't move past that as a people, we will perish and we will not have the success, the exponential success that we all are saying that we have. But do we really have that? So I'm really excited to talk about Black Bride. Black Bride was actually started by a Caucasian woman, a white lady in Texas, saw the disparity in the industry, the wedding industry, and she started Black Bride. And she worked on it, and she was like the only platform out there for 12 years prior to me acquiring it, and then other companies, you know, coming along afterwards. And I feel that she had gotten kind of to a point where she just didn't know what to do with the platform, and she received a lot of criticism, as you can imagine, in Houston about, you know, being white and starting this Black platform. And kind of even when I took over, I got some of that, you know, from white people, even trying to get vendors and things, and they were like, why do we need a Black, you know, bride platform? But when I would say to them, you know, well, just take a look on the shelf of, you know, on the magazine stands and, you know, at your grocery store, and next time you're there, and see if you see a Black woman on the cover of any major bridal magazine. And as you can imagine back then, you know, basically it would be crickets, you know, they couldn't answer that because you wouldn't see anything. And now it's coming along a little bit where, you know, there's some of the major brands that have had one or two, but Black Bride, you know, is to fill that void. And when I took over after they had asked me to start writing for them about love and romance, because I was, still in corporate America, and just, thinking about what I was going to do next, because I was getting to that 20-year mark of having, I started at AT&T when I was really young, and I put in 25 years, and my division manager tapped me and said that this great package was coming down the pipes. And I thought, I really was kind of bit by the entrepreneurial bug at that time. And I had learned so much at corporate because they just poured into people more back then than they kind of do now. And so I knew that, I wanted to do something on my own. So I started my own company called Love Life Designs, which is a romantic decorating and design firm. And it took off really big here in Atlanta. I advertised on a couple other radio stations, and they would talk about it all the time. And then all of a sudden Black Bride reached out to me about writing for them about love and romance, and how do you keep it alive in the marriage. And so I jumped at that. I was already writing for Hitch Mag and Mommy Mag about that, and I was like, Black Bride, yeah, I'd love to write about love and romance for the platform. And so I started doing that. And shortly after I started, one of my sisters passed away, and it was really difficult because it was sudden. It was a sudden death. And so when I came back to it after taking some time off, Renee had the company up for acquisition. And so I prayed about it, I thought about it, and I was already doing like decorating suites for wedding nights and stuff, and it just made sense. And I had actually contemplated starting a multicultural magazine before that. So it's sort of like, you just kind of have to wait on God, and things, they come when they're supposed to come to you, and so when I just felt like, yes, I said, yes, I would. And then it's just been a fast moving train ever since then. She had some really great opportunities on the table that she hadn't done anything with. Sony and TriStar Films had reached out to Black Bride about cross promoting the movie Jumping the Broom with Paula Patton and Angela Bassett. Yeah, I mean, we've all watched that movie like 20 times. And so, she hadn't done anything with that. Even prior to that, Chris Rock had reached out to Black Bride about cross promoting the movie Hair, because it was the only, Black platform around. And so that was just so exciting for me. And I just thought, well, let me just, get it together. And then when all the databases were moved over to our platform, we started brainstorming with the Sony executives, and we came up with doing the first Black Bride bridal show here in Atlanta, a boutique style luxury, bridal show. And so, I was kind of, nervous because I'm fearless. Like, I feel like I could do anything, but I didn't know what I was doing at all. But I knew that I could get it done. And so it's just been a fast moving train, with that. And then, you kind of bring it into the 20th century. We did rebranding, new website, new logo, and it's just been phenomenal, the way that it's been received by women, when they come to the shows, Black women, we would go around and ask them, how do you feel? And they would just be so excited, like jumping out of their skin to see something that was just for them at those shows.
I agree. Miss Chapman, with Black Bride, that platform in general, it's amazing. And definitely, I heard you say earlier, filling that void. There's definitely a void. As a makeup artist, I saw that void with Black Brides, because a lot of the times on the bigger shows, or you have all these different websites, but they were all catered to one different ethnic group. And so whenever we makeup artists or hairstylists would be at shows, they would ask us, can you do a certain type of face? Can you do a white face? Just because you're Black. And it was always like ostracized. So having Black Bride as a platform, us show up as creatives and makeup artists and hairstylists and say, hey, we're here. We can do any color. We can do any hair type. It also provides security for that bride to say, okay, I have resources now where I can go to and I don't feel like, oh, they're gonna put white powder on me and it's gonna show up weird on my photos,
Right.
but it goes deep with, you know, what you are providing and the resources and platform you are providing and fulfilling that need. So it's great to hear that you are rebranding in the future of Black Bride. Definitely
Oh,
appreciate
yes.
your contributions.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And we had to rebrand the company when I took it over because it was stuck in the sort of, because it started in 1998. And so it's kind of stuck in that era with a box looking website and the caricature logo. And so we rebranded in the beginning, and now we're just, preparing as we move into this, this new era that we're in, this new decade. We definitely are in the process of, rebranding again now, because you kind of have to, with bridal, and that as makeup artists too, you have to just keep it fresh all the time, because brides, they change, and then the generations change. Women are getting married younger in some cases, and then older, and 40 is the new 30, and 50
Right.
is the new 40. So it's so much to keep up with,
Right.
want to have something for everybody. So that's, our focus now is to, keep up with the times and make sure that we're providing something for all levels of women that, decide to get married later, and then, you've got Gen Z out there getting married, and women are just getting married younger and younger even, and they're committed to being married and starting families and having children. So it's just so wonderful. The divorce rate, I think, I need to check that recently. I think it's gone down.
So Mary, I want to ask you about how COVID-19 has affected the marriage industry, the wedding industry. I'm sorry, the wedding industry, not the marriage industry, the wedding industry. I actually had a cousin who was supposed to get married in June, and she continues to push her wedding back because she doesn't want to bring everybody together. How has this pandemic affected the wedding season?
It has really, in some cases, been devastating for people. Brides in the beginning, like in March, when this, when we first start getting into being quarantined, brides were so frantic. They really just, the March brides, as you can imagine, April brides, May, and like you said, they keep pushing it out with the hopes and dreams that this is going to be over. And then, a lot of the wedding pros have definitely had to pivot, their company into catering to smaller now, more intimate, weddings, micro weddings, are such a big thing now, where it's like, and this COVID is really not stopping love in a lot of cases, because people are pushing out their 200 and 300 person weddings to next year, perhaps, or canceling them altogether and opting for a smaller wedding where it's 10 people, 25 people in the backyard, smaller venues. They're making it happen, because we are featuring, there was a slow period where we were like, oh my goodness, what's happening? We were doing a lot of reposting of anniversaries per se, like for content wise. But now we're just saying, people are like, hey, I'm not going to let COVID stop me from getting married, and I love it. I really do love to see how we always find a way around adversity to get to, especially love. Nothing can stop love.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, Mary, thanks so much for joining us. We really appreciate you, and continue to, be a shining example, because we definitely need voices like you in this industry. I know that is dominated by individuals who don't look like you. So we definitely want you to continue being a trailblazer.
Definitely. I'd love to come back and talk about, there's so many things to talk about with the wedding industry. So I'd love to come back, but it's good seeing all of your smiling faces, and thanks so much for having me on.
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Take
Have a good day.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Man, y'all gotta be ready to go get married.
Oh, please.
I'm about to, I ain't even finished getting the sentence out, Cat.
I can't even.
Jesus Christ. Y'all gonna come? Ty, you gonna come?
I'm gonna be there, bro. I'm gonna be there. I got you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, man. Jesus Christ. Yeah, you
Like,
be there with
be there virtually.
Finally.
So we got a guest in the building, man. Let me see. Innovator, entrepreneur, Black woman, proud, strong. I said entrepreneur. I was trying to put the French in there.
Hey Monique, how are you? Can you turn your phone for us?
Yeah.
Turn it this way?
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go.
Okay. There we go.
Did you miss this face? No, you missed this face. Hey, introduce yourself to the Rolling Out Adrian Wake Up.
Yeah, so good morning, everyone. My name is Monique Rodriguez, and I'm the CEO of My Yale Organics. Hello. It's early.
Well, you with us, so technically
it's still good. I have, wiped the coal out my eye, but I'm good.
That's what I'm
You're
talking
still glowing, sis. You
Yes.
still the skin and everything. You're still glowing.
about.
Thank you.
So I want to introduce you to the team, my partner, my bro AR Shaw, my sis Cass in the city, and my partner in crime, Todd Cooper. Monique is doing something super dope, and I want to start out with what you're doing with HBCUs. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so we're doing an HBCU $50,000 tuition giveaway. So we're selecting 5 students that attend HBCUs, and what they have to do is they have to submit a 2 to 4 minute video explaining, why they should receive the tuition giveaway. Obviously, you have to follow us on our social media handles at My Yale Organics. You should be signed up for our newsletter. And you just submit a video and telling us why you feel like you deserve this scholarship. So we're selecting 5 students. The last student will be selected the September 4th. We've already selected 1 student. His name was Brent McGlashan. Forgive me if I said his last name wrong, but he attended Bethune-Cookman. And he was awarded $10,000. So he was our first winner of the HBCU giveaway. And he had just a touching story. He did a live with our marketing director, Ken. And it was just something about him that just stuck out to Ken. And Ken was like, you know what, I'm going to bless you today with this scholarship. So he was the first recipient of the 10K scholarship, and he really needed the $10,000 to finish his senior year so he can provide a better life for his family. So if anyone is interested in the fund, like I said, you can apply at our website at My Yale Organics for more information on how you can qualify for the scholarship.
So go ahead.
That's awesome. No, I love My Yale Organics products, number one,
Thanks,
but this is super dope for you to be doing. What is the reasoning behind this? Like, what inspired you? Because obviously you don't have to. A lot of people run businesses and don't give back. So why do you want to do this, and why specifically for HBCU students?
Well, I feel I'm always a firm believer that to whom much is given, much is required. And I feel that, God has blessed me with this platform to not just hoard everything and keep it to myself. Like, it is my job and my duty to be a servant to others. So it's really a part of my servant initiative, just to give back to others. The reason why we chose HBCUs is because I feel like HBCUs are just so underserved, but they're so powerful. They don't get the same funding as the PWIs and other students and our other counterparts that they get. But I've just always been very passionate about HBCUs. Like, I didn't attend one myself, but I'm trying to push my daughter to attend one. I'm trying to live my dream through her. But I just think that HBCUs, it's legacy. It's a community of just Black, multicultural, educated people together. And, not everyone can afford the tuitions of HBCUs. Not everyone has the opportunity to get scholarships to attend. And so a lot of students are actually struggling to get their college degree and education. And so, I felt that it was just my duty to give back to, the next generation coming up, because they are our future. And so we have to pour back into them and also be that example and show them, like, when you become successful, like, don't become successful and not look back and give back. But once you become successful, you have to pour back into your community and the people that support you.
Love that.
They are.
Monique, I really love that you're using Mayel really as a byproduct of inspiration and empowering those individuals because, you know, unlike most that are attending HBCUs, because I'm an HBCU grad as well.
Okay.
And we didn't have a lot of opportunities.
Yeah.
Or we didn't see ourselves in a really successful or good position. And, you know, I didn't have parents that, you know, had their own company or entrepreneurs. So the fact that you are really a fearless servant leader is what I see you as, because you're giving back when it's necessary. And you're right, HBCUs a lot of the times are private institutions, so they cost a whole lot more than what a government grant or a government loan will give us. So it's really great that you're giving back and using your platform, not just to say, okay, this is what I'm doing and I'm doing great. No, let me show you and let me give back as well.
Yeah, and I want to add to that too. And another thing that, you know, kind of like frustrates me with, you know, like HBCUs versus like, you know, the PWIs is that, so my daughter is an athlete. She runs track. And so, you know, she's already like going to get a scholarship just because of the times that she's running right now. So we know that she's going to get a scholarship. However, the issue that, you know, we're up against is when she gets the scholarship, the scholarship more than likely is going to be to a D1 school, not an HBCU. And I feel like it's not, I guess I would say it's not fair, because my daughter should have the opportunity to go to a college around her people and still have the same advantages and get a scholarship to pay her full tuition and still get the exposure that she would get at a D1 school. So one of my goals is, because I feel like, so it's like, I feel like with the PWIs, it's like, you know, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Like, we want the best of the crop, you know, we're going to take your athletes and then you guys, you know, but you can't have it all. And I don't like that. So one of my goals is to, as I grow and continue to, you know, excel in my business, is to change that narrative. So if she qualifies for a D1 school, she should be able to go to an HBCU, have that choice, and still get the same exposure she would get if she was attending a D1 school. So that part, I want to help change that. I don't know how, but I'm just ask God to help me with that.
No, you know how you're doing it. I mean, you're doing it right now. So give yourself a pat on the back, give yourself credit, because like I said, it's a byproduct, Maya. You know, the product itself is a byproduct of what you're doing. There's an initiative behind it. So love it.
Thank
you. Go ahead, Amir, because I got something for him.
Definitely, you have an inspiring story. You're starting off as a nurse and you switch careers. Let's talk about what inspired you to switch careers. You know, being a nurse and start this business.
Well, you know, I became a nurse because that's what my mom told me to do. You know, she always instilled in me ever since I was young, like, you know, you gotta become a nurse, you gotta go to college, you know, the same scenario that we probably always heard, like, you gotta work a 9-to-5 job and then you have job stability and you retire from that career. She always preached job stability because my mom came from a generation of survival. She didn't come from a generation where it was, you know, if you have this dream, like, go for it. Like, whatever you set your heart on, just do it. Like, it was, no, I'm going to make sure that you set up so once you leave my house, you don't come back. So I need to make sure that you're independent. So, you know, nursing was the career path that she kind of chose for me. And of course, me being 18, 19, graduated from high school, like, I didn't know any better. I did what my mom told me to do. I wanted to make her happy. I didn't really understand the thought of making myself happy until I actually started working as a nurse. And I was miserable. I felt like I was in a box. You know, I'm a very creative person. I'm also very like girly girl. I was always into hair and beauty, nails and all that stuff. And when I went to work as a nurse, I had to wear scrubs, really couldn't get my nails done. My hair was always in the ponytail, no makeup. So it was just like real plain Jane. And I was like, I don't like doing this. Like, I love working with women. So when went into nursing, I said, well, if I'm gonna go into this career, let me at least go into a career working with people that I love. So I started in labor and delivery because I always wanted to work with women. And yes, it was fun at the time. You know, I was a 22-year-old new grad working as a labor and delivery nurse, made great money, had bought my first home, bought a car. So, you know, I thought I was really doing something until like a year or two into it. And I'm like, this is not it. And, you know, I did it for 8.5 years. And, you know, I kind of told my story on my live the other day, but I went back to school twice because I was so unhappy in my career that I felt that either, you know, I tried to start other business ventures throughout my career. Nothing ever worked. So I decided to go back to school. I went back to school twice. Every time I went back to school, I ended up getting pregnant. The first time I got pregnant was with my youngest daughter. She was born prematurely. So I dropped out of school to take care of her. The third time I got pregnant was after I enrolled back in school to try to further my degree and get a master's in nursing and become a nurse practitioner because I thought that's what I was supposed to be doing. I got pregnant with my third child, and unfortunately my son, he passed away because it was a high risk pregnancy, and he was born brain dead. So when that happened, it was obviously a tragic situation. You know, I was really lost. I was confused. I was, you know, asking God, like, why me? You know, really couldn't understand why I was going through what I was going through. But that painful trial that I was going through led me to my purpose. You know, it also allowed me to deepen my relationship with God. And the difference with Mayel versus the other different business ventures that I tried to start when I was a nurse, the difference was I didn't seek God first. And so when that happened to me, it caused me, because I had no choice. In order for me to get through what I was getting through, I had to lean on God. My husband couldn't help me. My mom couldn't help me. No one can help me. So I had to turn to God. Once I turned to God, me and my husband, we became saved. We started going to church. I started reading the Bible more. I started to get to know God. And after I got to know God, an idea just dropped in my head, and it was like, just talk about hair on Instagram. And that's how that was like the birth of Mayel, because I just decided to start sharing my hair journey, talking about hair care on Instagram, which led me to making products, which me making products at home led to me finding a chemist because people were asking for the products that I was making, and starting a website. And Mayel was launched on May 23rd, and you know, the rest was history. So, you know, it was definitely from a painful situation. The reason why I'm here today, because if I didn't go through that, and I talked about this on my live, if I didn't allow God to interrupt my life, I wouldn't be here talking to you.
Ooh,
You know what?
say that thing.
I was about to get you on the PWI, but you just made me fall back in love with you. But your story that you just spoke about speaks to us, and it speaks to our audience at the fact that as long as you can see your goal, everything else should rotate around you. Like no one should go. And I think what happens is, because you made a great point, you know, the nursing thing, I wasn't feeling it. School, pregnant, school. I know what I want. I see what I want. I can hear what I want. So I'm still going that way. So I got to give you a round of applause for being that strong Black woman, just to be like, you know what? Y'all gonna have to get on this train and ride with me, because I'm only going this way. So dang. We got to wrap, and I wanted to talk about your other project as well, but you just inspired everybody.
No. Yeah, you did. Seriously. You gave us all inspiration to look out for. I mean, I love the fact that you switched that narrative from I don't have to work for anybody. I could be my own boss.
Yes, absolutely.
We got to have you back at we having a ride conference. We got to have you back there, Monique. Definitely going to reach out for that opportunity. Because love your story. Like Romeo said, you inspired us all today.
Thank you.
And shout out to that D1 school your daughter gonna be going to.
Shout out to that HBCU. We're gonna claim that HBCU.
Hope it's Georgia Tech.
Well, see, that's a good school, because the thing is, I may move to Atlanta, so we'll see.
Hey.
Thank you. I won. Hey, well, thank you for joining us this morning. I'm definitely going to reach out to you and get more information, and you'll be able to check out her story today on rollingout.com. I appreciate you, Monique. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for having me, and I'm looking forward to it. So I'll be on the lookout because I want to be a part of anything you guys are doing.
Good deal.
Awesome.
Thank you.
All right, see you guys.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Cash, y'all gonna stop talking about PWIs me and Amir went to.
She brought it up.
I went to one too. Look,
She brought it up.
Doggone it.
I had a mix.
So we have our next guest here, Dr. Haynes. How's it going, brother? This is A.R. Shaw. I'm here with Ty Cooper, Cass, and the City Romeo International. Want you to introduce yourself to the people.
Wow, I'm honored to be a part of the Wake Up Call, rolling out with y'all. And my name is Frederick D. Haynes III, Senior Pastor of Friendship West here in the DFW. That was a powerful piece y'all just got through with. So I'm honored to be a part of this. Now, I need to let y'all know right now, I'm HBCU all the way. So
That's right.
I got to drop that on you, okay? I just got to drop that on you.
You want to start early, okay?
Hey.
We love it. We love it. So let's just get into it, man. We have it's a lot of things that we want to talk about. But first, let's talk about your journey, how you got into ministry.
Oh, wow. Well, first of all, my name is Frederick Douglass Haynes III. I am the third generation. I'm a third generation preacher. My grandfather, Frederick Douglass Haynes Sr., he was orphaned at the age of 4 and in West Virginia. His sister raised him, called him Bubba. And when he went to school for the first time at the age of 9, he was asked by the teacher, what's your name, young man? And his response was, even though his sister and family members had always referred to him as Bubba, they had read to him about Frederick Douglass, the great abolitionist and prophet for freedom. And as a consequence, when that teacher asked my grandfather what his name was, he's orphaned, has no sense of his name, and yet on the spot, he named himself. He said, my name is Frederick Douglass Haynes. And so that set the stage, the tone for his life, as it were, because he pastored the historic Third Baptist Church in San Francisco. During his pastorate, my grandfather was the first African-American to run for county supervisor. He was the host to W.E.B. Du Bois, the NAACP National Convention, Martin Luther King Jr., on and on it goes. And it all goes back for me to that moment when he was 9 years old. And he basically said, I am Frederick Douglass Haynes, because in this life, you don't really discover who you are. You decide who you are, and then you create who you are. And so I have that in my DNA. I wanted to give that backdrop. But for me, my grandfather died when I was 10. I did not know all of that about him. But as life has evolved, I have come to know a part of my own spiritual as well as my biological DNA. I accepted my call to the ministry when I was 18 years old. Didn't really know what I was doing because I did not want to do ministry. Let me just be real. I did my best. Please hear me well. I tried to disqualify myself in the eyes of God. God, look at what I just did. You know I shouldn't be preaching. God, look at how janky and jacked up I am. You know I am not worthy of preaching. Don't ask me what I did. Just know I tried to disqualify myself. And in spite of everything I did to disqualify myself, God said, I got plans for you. And my plans for you are greater than your own personal problems. They are greater than your past. And so you can keep jacking with me all you want to. I'm going to run you down because I am God. And so I finally had to say, okay, God, it's on you. What you want to do. And, it's like we make plans and God laughs. And so my plan was not to do ministry. And God said, ha, 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 watch you do ministry. I put it in your DNA and I'm about to use you. And so I've been really blessed. I was called to pastor of Friendship West when I was 21 years old. And so this has just been a journey. And it's just, I can't even I don't even know why you asked me that question, because you're trying to get me all
So
emotional now.
yes, I want to
to
switch. I want to switch gears and get into the meat of everything, because a couple of weeks ago there was a I want to make sure I get it right. Back to the Blue cruise that occurred at the church. First, explain to the people what happened, and it was an unauthorized event. Explain to the people what happened and the reactions, because there was a lot of controversy around this rally.
Right. So what happened Wednesday, July 29th, a representative of a group calling themselves the Texas Ram Club, Dodge Ram. And this representative said, we would like to use your parking lot for a pit stop for about 30, no more than 30 vehicles for our Texas Ram Club. We're on our way somewhere, and we just want to use your parking lot as a pit stop. And so we've done that for the Deltas, the AKAs, and other organizations. We're not familiar with no Texas Ram Club, but okay, we got parking lot for 1,800 cars. We can do this. And so somehow a pit stop for a Texas Ram Club instead morphed into a Back the Blue rally and gathering for just a coalition of car clubs. And again, that was not what was authorized. They did not ask for 1,000 vehicles, and more than that, they did not ask for a Back the Blue rally to be held on the campus of a church that proudly hangs a banner that says Black Lives Matter on the side of the building facing the freeway, so that Ray Charles in his grave can see it. And so here they are basically coming at us for one reason, misrepresenting what the reason was, and then gathering on our site. And here's the deal. They literally looked like a white supremacist rally, so much so that I get calls and text messages from members of our church driving by the campus, and their whole thing is, Pastor, why is a white supremacist rally taking place on our campus? Because they had Confederate flags, Trump flags, in the age of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor, on and on it goes. And so that's what happened to us. The good news is that ain't the last thing that happened, because God always has the last word.
Well, it's time to fight now, Pastor. I'm sorry.
I know, right?
Hey, let me tell you something. And when I tell you when the community found out what was going on, because again, our church has always been about serving the community, fighting for the community, speaking up for the community. And so the community came out in mass. And Romeo, check this out. It was so funny. Some of the brothers from the streets came and said, listen, I don't even go to church, but you my pastor. This is my church. And so here, Pastor, check this out. And he showed me how he was, packing, and said, right. So I'm gonna be your personal bodyguard. I don't see no bodyguards with you. I'm gonna be your bodyguard. And so I said, man, don't show me that, but I'm glad to know you with me. So we're gonna be all right.
Right.
Wow. That's actually beautiful, man. Because before AR continues his point, I love churches that are deep rooted in the community, and that's one thing I was gonna bring up about youth and millennials. Like for that young guy to be like, hey, I know I'm doing wrong. I know I don't do this, but I know what's not gonna happen to the church that's in my community that's doing better. Like that speaks volumes to how you and your congregation represent yourself in the community. So I applaud you for that 100%.
Man, I appreciate that. One cat came up to me and he said, listen, I ain't gonna let nothing happen to you or this church because of what you all have done for my sister. Y'all sent my sister to school, and y'all did this for me when I was, and he even told me, and I did not even recall this. He said that he had gotten in some trouble, and I'd gone down to the detention center and talked, because I know his mother, and I talked to the people on his behalf, and he said, I got him out. I didn't even remember that, but he never has forgotten it. And he said, man, I don't believe in going to church, but I listened to you, and I just need you to know that the streets got you. And that just did everything for me to hear those words right there. The streets got you. And for me, I've been telling all my colleagues this, I said, I've learned through this experience, when we say to the streets, we got you, when the stuff hits the fan, the streets got us.
Yeah, yep. You about to make me, yep. Go ahead,
AR. Yeah, I definitely want to get Ty Cass in here too, but they were saying that during this rally that they were being very disrespectful on grounds that they were like littering, and some people were relieving themselves on the church grounds. Can you speak more to what actually was happening on the church grounds during this rally?
Yeah, man, it was so sad. I mean, I have eyewitnesses who said it's bad enough you have your Confederate flags and Trump flags, but then, you act like this is some kind of, you going to the Cowboys game and having your little party there, drinking, and then relieving yourself on the church property. And so it was like they were, desecrating Black sacred space. And for me, as I've shared with our staff and the members of our church, sadly, in the history of this country, when the Black church has been doing what the Black church is supposed to be doing for the community, there's always been this assault on the Black church. There's that scene in 1961 when John Lewis and the Freedom Riders were riding from DC through Alabama, and they're in a church with Dr. King, and it gets surrounded by these people in the name of law and order. They back the blue. They surround these Black Freedom Riders, and basically it's a threat. It's an act of aggression. I shared with my church that in the theater of war, there is something known as an act of aggression. An act of aggression is when Russian planes fly in American airspace. They may not shoot one bullet, they may not drop one bomb, but it's an act of aggression. And that's what happened to us. It was an act of aggression. They desecrated sacred space of the Black community, which is the Black church. And so basically they made a statement, not only that they disrespected us, but the sad reality is they don't just disrespect us, but as far as many of them were concerned, Black lives don't matter. And for you to hang a banner that reflects your ministry and says Black lives matter, we're going to say we back the blue. Now, let me be honest. I got to be fully honest with this. A lot of the persons who were in this convoy have emailed me and said, listen, Pastor, I had no idea this is what they were going to do. And so I apologize. And they've offered apologies, and we, get that. There were still others, and I got to tell you this is what messed me up, AR, and that is someone sent me a text messages from someone who lives in South Lake, a real ritzy area, and they were having a birthday party, drive-by birthday party for their daughter. They canceled the party because they said they were going to shut down Friendship West. So you had some who basically came with that evil intent to shut down a church, a Black sacred space that says Black lives matter.
Dr. Haynes, so we have a clip that from a news clip that's going to kind of explain, show what happened. Let's go.
As far as I'm concerned, they came for not sin for them.
Frustration boiled over after this Blue Lives Matter rally Sunday morning.
This is exactly what I saw.
Nathan Abrams organized a caravan of cars, jeeps, and motorcycles, a ride around DFW showing support for law enforcement.
As I look over the sea of blue and red, white, and blue, I'm reminded of what I dreamt this day would look like.
But it's not the ride that left folks frustrated, it's where they stopped.
This was not approved by Friendship West.
Facebook video and our cameras captured the caravan of 1,000 plus riders taking a break at Friendship West Church. Church leaders known for their strong support of Black Lives Matter say no one from this caravan reached out to them.
We're trying to get to the bottom of it, because the bottom line is you decide to pack out this parking lot and intimidate our community in the age of George Floyd, and we ain't playing that.
What happened at Friendship West is not what I wanted to happen.
Abrams said they never intended any harm, they just wanted to take a break on a long ride. Leaders on both sides acknowledge a few participants flew Trump flags and at least one Confederate flag, something Abrams said he never wanted.
And I want to personally say to the members of that church and the pastor that I'm sorry that there was conflict. That is not my heart. That's not what I'm about. We had told everyone this is not a political event. So no Trump flags, no Biden flags. It's not about division. It's not about anything other than coming together as one.
But church leaders see no unity after this pit stop.
We're going to keep this investigation going.
And that's why Sunday night they gathered outside of DPD.
If the blue want to be backed by us, until you back us, then back up off of us.
The evening ended as marchers took to the streets. A rally for Blue Lives ended up mobilizing a movement for Black Lives. In Dallas,
Man, if he don't go somewhere with that,
Exactly.
You know, it's amazing. My fault, AR. Ty, you know what's amazing about that? It's funny to me that what do King James call them, provocateurs? It's funny to me. Asian provocateurs. It's funny to me that you can actually say, "Oh, well, I didn't know." You know who rolling your crew. You know, every time you go out, you know who fight. You know who the fighter is. You know who gonna get drunk. You know who you roll with. And the fact that people still do things like that, but then turn around and play the innocent role so that those people who are uneducated can sympathize and empathize with them. Like, well, what was wrong? He knew what was wrong. Come on, bro.
Right.
And also to add to that, Romeo, Pastor, you said you had a upbringing. You are deeply rooted in a mission to pastor, but not just pastor, but also fight against racial injustice. So it was almost like this was supposed to happen to push you to a whole nother level in which you weren't even sitting in. Something has happened that has now pushed you to a level where you not only did everybody learn something, but now there's a whole nother movement and a mission to it. So there has to be some type of appreciation of what happened. Even those that came that said they didn't know and that they weren't supposed to, we are trying to do this together. There is a division, there is a separation. So now let's talk about it. So Pastor, I'm waiting. I can't wait to see exactly what the mission God will have you on to set people straight. Because blue lives and black lives, yeah, we're supposed to merge, but it's a way in which you do it. And I'm ready for you to show them.
Right. I want to thank you for that, because one of the things that I kept hearing over and over again, one of my colleagues, Michael Waters, said, man, this is a gift. They didn't intend it this way, but this is a gift. Reverend Jesse Jackson called me from Chicago while it's going on, saying, man, they intended this for evil, but God is going to work some good out of this. This is how God moves. God has a way of taking haters and using them for your elevators. And so as a consequence, they have elevated and put the spotlight on the movement for Black lives, the movement for racial justice. And so as a consequence, I'll just go there. The following Sunday, we said, okay, y'all brought 1,000, we're going to bring 1,000 more. And we started our own convoy at Barack Obama Leadership Academy. And we went through the community, came to the church, and Ms. Cooper, once we got to the church, we registered over 900 voters. We registered people for the census. We registered people to speak in the town halls about doing the budget right, to present a people's budget in the city of Dallas that is going to invest in the community. We registered people who are going to work the polls come November, because again, you got people who are afraid to work the polls because of the pandemic. So we got a generation of young folk who said, listen, I'm going to work the polls. And so what they intended for bad, when I tell you some good stuff has come out of this that only God could have set up. So really, I ain't even complaining. I'm celebrating, because I'm excited about what's going to come out of this, not in spite of what they did, but because of what they did, because we serve a God. If you're going to have me go there, we serve a God who says, hey, you may come for my child wrong, but no weapon formed against them will prosper. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to make what you did to them prosper for them. That's the Freddie Haynes remix of that. And so God is good even when other folk intend bad for you. God is still good and brings good out of the bad that happened to you. Y'all making me preach, and I'm trying not to.
I love it.
I love it. Look, I'm here for it. I needed it this morning. They need it.
Nah, they need it. They can act like they don't need it. And shout out, you know what? Shout out to everybody on Facebook. And you know, we got some back and forth on Facebook, 50% good, 50% bad. I like all the 50%. So shout out to Iris Baker. You know what, J. Marie Jackson, I appreciate your comment too. And everyone else that's checking in. I think what it comes to, I think Ty made something very important. And it's starting to bother me. You know, it's not black. It's Black Lives Matter. It's Blue Lives Matter. Don't forget the yellow or don't forget the orange. Like everybody in the same crayon box. I don't know why y'all. I don't know what the division is. We all got to be in the same crayon box. So it's just way too much. But I applaud you, sir. I really do applaud you for all the work you put forth thus far.
It's too much, but it's also enough. It's necessary. Right. The mission is to transform lives, and that's exactly what's happening.
Right. Transform lives and transform community, transform, this nation, because we need it desperately right now.
Absolutely.
Absolutely to that.
That's a good segue into our positive thoughts.
Great.
Yeah, you got to stay for positive thoughts of the day, man. At the end of every show, we do positive thoughts of the day. Awesome. We're gonna let Cass kick it off. Let's go, Cass.
After that, y'all want me to follow up after that?
I didn't want to follow up after that.
Look, I'm gonna just say what God has for you is for you. That's what I took for it, and nobody can get in the way of that. Thank you for coming on and sharing that word. I appreciate it. I'm gonna pass it back to you, Romeo.
See, man, well, like I always tell y'all, it's Wednesday. And Thursday ain't here, and Tuesday is gone. So just get through the day, and you'll be good. But on the words of the pastor, don't let the streets talk back. I'm tell y'all right now, y'all don't want to hear that conversation, because if they get together, woo. Ty, where we at?
My positive thought for the day is coming from Monique and also Pastor Frederick Douglass Haynes. Is seeking purpose, create who you are, because God has put something great inside of you. So make sure you continue to make the world see what that is by creating who you are and letting other people see it. All right, I'm gonna throw it over to A.R. Shaw.
Let's get it. A positive thought of the day is don't be afraid to reset, to reevaluate your life, to really understand where you stand in life, and to understand what's going to be the next stage of your life. We saw that with earlier with our earlier guest, and she was able to reset and restart and create a whole other movement behind her, her dreams and her thoughts. So that's my positive thought of the day is don't be afraid to reset. Let's go, Dr. Haynes.
Hey, I guess I can just wrap it like this by saying that God specializes in taking the negatives that happen to you to set the stage for the positive path of possibilities that's before you. Every negative can't have the last word.